Boom, 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 boom. Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's the Three Headed Monster Podcast coming to you, Brother Brian, coming live from Philadelphia. Brother Jerome coming from the Carolinas. And it's a Three Headed
Yeah.
Monster Podcast. Sorry we haven't been on for a while. We got life things that we have to deal with. And I'm building a lot of projects, so I'm trying to keep my mind going. Other than that, though, man, it's been a lot going on since the last time we really chat, man.
Yeah, it is. A lot.
So
But
I
here
like
we are.
Jerome. Go ahead and get the business out the way. Jerome.
Can you hear me now? What's going on, Facebook family and YouTube family? Back again to do the three-headed monster with my partner in crime, Philly B.
I'll be robbing today. No, I
Oh,
take that back.
nah.
Fuck that.
You
Fuck
got
that.
you got to
No,
keep
we
that
one of
there.
twins. We side by side when we activate.
But as always, everything that we talk about is strictly our opinions, best based on the facts. Um, don't believe anything that we tell you. Whatever you hear, take it, research it, bring it back. Let's discuss it. Let's build upon it. What's up, B?
What's going on, man? I am I'm about to go on vacation. There's a lot going on in the next upcoming months. I mean, your celebration is coming up, which you know, until you put that out there, I ain't saying nothing. But I got, I'm ready for that. I'm going to the islands in 2 weeks. Celebrate my 11th year anniversary with me and my wife.
All right.
And actually,
Congratulations.
she already left. She left yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's something that I don't have a problem with. She goes spend time with her family in the islands. So,
Right.
I ain't telling where I'm going to be at because I don't want to see nobody there. Uh, but no, other than that, man, trying to get my mind right. There's
Okay.
been a lot of stuff coming on, a lot of controversies. I don't even know what's controversial no more. I don't even know what's anything that they keep saying to take your mind off of something. I feel like it's some truth behind it. And oh yeah, what's up, Jeremy? What's going on, man? What's good? Carbon King, Grand Rising, it ain't Grand Rising family. I'm about to say Grand Rising ain't morning. I said that to my brother the other day, dude. I said Grand Rising. He was like, dude, what the hell is that? I'm like, my bad. Too much for you. Too much for you already, man. Too much for you. Too much for you. Some people, man. That's all I can say is some people. So we were supposed to get on last week, and I actually told Jerome that morning, "Yo, we're gonna do this podcast," and got home and got to talking to my neighbors, doing stuff out in the yard, and completely forgot about it because the sun is still out. Dude, the sun don't go down at like 8:30, and I'm not used to that because it was 5 o'clock at one point in time, and I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy." It was dark at 5:30.
Right. Right.
So it's a couple projects that I'm doing outside in the yard. I'm building some stuff, you know, planting the garden. My greens coming up. My collards are good. My cabbage is coming in good. So I'm doing a lot of stuff to keep my mind off of this worldly craziness that we have to deal with, dude. So I called Jerome the other day. Actually, it was last week. And I was like, this whole, Roe versus Wade, um, got overturned. And something about it has got me because I was like, people really don't understand what's really going on. And how does it affect the black community?
What's
And
going
this,
on, B? Tell us what's going on.
no, because I mean, you have to look at it as Where was all your Planned Parenthood at? It's all in the black neighborhoods.
Right.
So this whole abortion. I mean, let's get to the history of abortion. All this
Let's
was
get to it.
all of it just was really practiced on our ancestors, our
Right.
queens, our moms, our grandmothers.
Right.
Our great great ancestors was experimenting on. Every time you see anything medical, they got it from us by torturing us, practicing it on us.
Right.
So when it comes to abortions, I feel like it was put in place to slow the black population from growth,
Right.
and it backfired
Right.
because anytime they put something in place, when it becomes an issue or when it hits the national news, it's because it hit the other race. It's affecting the other race, and that's why I feel like they had to overturn it. They didn't overturn it because they care about women. They didn't overturn it because they trying to save uh, what's the demographic that's slowly dying, slowly disappearing. But again, like Jerome said, this is our opinions. This is what we say. What's up, Russell? Man, we ain't hearing from Russell in a minute, man. So, but yeah, I mean, to me, abortions. But how's it that we're a Christian country and we use this as a tool so people don't take us bashing religion? But y'all need to understand how religion is controlling everything. So if God said is, thou shalt not kill, but it's okay for you to have a bunch of damn guns to, protect yourself, or, you know, how was it legal in the first place if this is a Christian country? It ain't like, abortion just came out of anywhere. It was a point. It put it in place for a reason, you know. But what you think? Talk to me. Talk to me, Jerome.
My bad. Y'all gotta forgive me. I have a little stuffy nose, a little allergies tonight. But
Ain't nothing wrong with you. You a grown ass man.
say nothing wrong. But you
Ain't
gotta
nothing
think
wrong.
about it like this. When you say Planned Parenthood and abortion, because as far as the black community, and if you want to check out a good book, it talks about all the medical experiments that happened to our people. Uh, Medical apartheid is the name of the book. It's really good. Um, but that society that put together Planned Parenthood, excuse me, Margaret Singer, the head of Planned Parenthood,
Mm-hmm.
she said that black people were like weeds and they needed to be exterminated. And so and that's the eugenics society. If you want to Google or look it up,
Mm-hmm.
but their main purpose was to eradicate the black uh, soul from the earth, which they cannot do. But uh, I don't know, man. It's crazy when you think about uh, trying to even the numbers. And
You know,
Russell, I think
crazy.
Russell's got a great point when he's talking about genetics. The one right above it.
Oh, you talking about? Okay, my bad. My bad. Wrong
Uh,
one.
that that's really that's really what it's about because you have and we're talking strictly scientific. When you talk about dominant genes and recessive genes,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you have to intervene to keep dominant genes from being dominant.
That's why they keep trying to mix and mix and mix and mix.
That's what
But
that's your words.
this is a question that I like right here. Why were people walking, in a war? Actually, I don't, Russell. I don't know anybody that felt any kind of way about this. So to me, man, I don't, because I mean, in the poor community, that might be an issue. I can say that. I hate the statistics. I don't care what anybody says. We're not 13. We're not 13%. Please send me the link. Russell want to get on. Send it to him. You send it to him, Jerome.
I got
Um, it's not 13%. Ain't no way in hell it's 13%. You can't come to our country and think you demolished the whole race of indigenous people and you thinking we only 13%? No. But at the same time, we look at this whole picture and we see protests. We see people just don't understand what they're seeing. I think that's what it is. People don't get it when they see what's truly going on. Because right now they're getting ready to start hitting voters' registrations and your right to vote. Indigenous people, they get ready to start hitting a lot of stuff. So, is the Supreme Court really supreme? Because we saw this coming 3-4 years ago. And if you don't believe me, check out the book, The Birth Dearth. If I said it right, I forgot who's the author of that. Actually, I think I got it on me. Who is the author of The Birth Dearth? It's a good book that would tell you that. I'm sorry, that it would tell you at this present time, white Americans are at a zero birth rate. They're dying and they're giving birth and dying at the same time. They're even. So in other words, their population is not increasing. So you tell me. You
I'm
tell me
sorry.
what is the big thing. You tell me.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? I was texting.
I was I would talk about the zero birth rate because we have talked about this before. That
Oh
they're
yeah,
giving
yeah, yeah,
birth
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
as quickly. They're not. They almost in a negative right now. They are dying faster than they can repopulate
Right,
in this country. But in the
right,
world, they're already a minority anyway.
right. That's correct.
You want to
But I
expand
mean,
on that a little bit
I
more?
think, and when we talk about it, we got to think about in the sense that, uh, what's up, Russ?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Long time no see you, no here. I just was online and caught you. I said, let me check in with my peeps.
Hey, what's going on?
I
What's
said
up, man?
when I saw y'all topic, I said, man, I said, let me just close out the show and don't ask them to send me no link
You
because
couldn't help yourself, could you?
uh,
You couldn't help yourself, could you?
that the topic y'all talking about both the topics are great topics. Been burning my brain all for over a month. One, Juneteenth. But the Roe v. Wade, I put in the comments that I noticed. I guess the social media feed that I follow and just what I saw online, a lot of black women were up in arms about this overruling of the decision. And I said, okay, it's her body, her choice. But this goes back to my Alpha 21. We're talking 360. I think the number since 1973 is about 50 to 60 million abortions in the black community. And people say, okay, well, this is more for the other groups. The white numbers are down. But what we're getting is a positive externality from this. Yes, they're focused on their numbers, but it's a positive for us because it exponentially impacts us more. And the thing that I saw was so many black women in an uproar about this. And I got to thinking, I said, we're in the South. Majority of the black women are Christian women. What is this? What's going on here? Where's the disconnect to where everybody agrees that if you want to have an abortion due to rape, incest, health of the child, or health of yourself, that's universal. Everyone agrees on that piece. But in
Right.
the Black community, it seemed like it shifted to more birth control. And
Right.
it took, and then there's two pieces to this overruling. One, I don't like how they put Clarence Thomas out front to be the hit piece for this, because then you got white liberals, the LGBT community out there calling this man the N-word. You know what I mean? Where's our Black people to step up and say, you know what, if he's the N-word, he's our N-word. You don't got the right to say that.
Right. That's correct.
Nobody's checking that, because the Democratic Party has written that narrative that he is the coon. So it is okay for everyone to attack him. I don't like
Tim Scott. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Tim Scott in that too. But I digress.
But Tim Scott is Republican.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. I don't like how they put Clarence Thomas at the forefront of this, and this overruling. Don't let the Democratic Party fool you like their hands were tied. They let this thing go because their numbers are tainted. Their ratings are all-time low, and they're going to use this for midterm elections. So, like, Black people's whole agenda to vote is Roe v. Wade. We need more things than Roe v. Wade. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, tanking. And it's like they're going to lose the midterm elections. They needed this. They let this happen, because if they didn't want this to happen, they could have put up a bigger fight in the media. It was like this thing, somebody leaked it in May. They did the ruling 2 weeks ago. Now everybody's looking like, oh, we didn't know what was going on. They knew exactly what was going on. And they let it happen because I think they need they need to try to find a way to
smoke signal. They need a smoke signal.
Get the people, the Black people out to vote, the community out to vote, because right now we're talking close to a $5 average of gasoline across the country. Food's through the roof. Wages are not going up. People are struggling. So I see on the news a lot of white families are struggling. So that lets me know the Black ones got to be struggling. You see what I mean? That's the way that actually works. I mean, there's no way in the world America set up for Black families not to struggle and everybody else is struggling. So if they're struggling, Black people as a whole, individually, we may be all right in pockets, but as a whole, we can't. It wouldn't be set up that way. But I didn't like the whole piece about the Roe v. Wade with Black women, because Black women are really in an uproar about this. I got to thinking, the irrational. I told this to my friend. I hate to explain this like this on the show. It's like a pimp prostitute relationship. Our women have got out of control to where somebody's got to give them instructions because they're headed for self-destruction. Their irrational behavior now needs rational actions. And it took white men to come and say, you know what, Black women, you need to stop killing off your babies, and we're going to change it to where the state's going to be in control of it. They're talking, and the thing is that last week, Black women were in an uproar about this, but then on Sunday, you're on the front row of the Black church. Where the Black pastors at to sort of say, you know what I mean? What's their role in this?
I feel you on that. I feel you, but at the same time, I sit there and I say, Planned Parenthood was put into place to affect us. Period. It was put there and affect us. And I say, if it hits the news, it affects them. Period. Anything, like you say, gas prices, food prices, who doing the most complaining? It's them.
Yeah.
So evidently, if anything is in an uproar, because you see women protest, this is my right, this is my right. But then at the same time, when you look at it, who does the most when it comes to it? 61% of it is people of non-color.
True.
That's doing abortion. So, but at the same time, I guarantee you, every damn senator in Congress, man, that had a female do an abortion.
True. But I think they're turning it back to the states.
That is speculation, son.
That I think people misread the ruling because it's not outlawing it. They're just turning it back over to the states.
But look how quickly some of these people, some of these states was like, we've been waiting for this to drop.
Yeah, they already had it on the books and they were just waiting. But when you talk about Planned Parenthood, the history and stuff like that, people don't go past Planned Parenthood. I think it's not just the United States. When you talk of Planned Parenthood, you got to go across the water to Germany. When I say that, I mean talking the Nazis. People don't really understand how big the Nazis were in the inception of what we have going on over here after World War II.
They adopted it.
With Project Paperclip, they brought all of those.
Project Paperclip.
They brought all of those scientists from the Nazis. Van Bronner, I can't remember his name, is the one who helped get the NASA started. Those Nazi scientists were like because at the time people don't understand the Germans were some of the smartest people on the planet outside of the Africans. People don't understand the Germans were it took the whole world to come together against them. You hear what I'm telling you? They had some of the smartest people on the planet in Germany. And they brought those doctors here. Those are the same doctors that Planned Parenthood, what was that, 1920s, 1930s? Just started the same in the early 30s. Those were German doctors who started that.
It all come out of the eugenics program.
That eugenics program, that German, the Nazis perfected it. Because Hitler always said, how can you talk to us about race relations when Hitler actually stole his whole philosophy from American slavery?
Right.
It was like he perfected it. And like the Germans, their medical team, when I said they were probably the smartest people in the modern world in every industry, every facet. They had the best chemists, the best doctors, the best engineers. Like Mercedes-Benz was building the Nazi tanks and the planes, and Rolls-Royce was doing this. I mean, they were the pinnacle of the industries. And like I said, we brought them over here, and people don't realize, like the KKK, I put that in there, Red Cross, Nazis, KKK, they're all aligned. Those Nazi doctors were the foundation of the Red Cross, things like that.
That's true.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie on YouTube. It's from the 70s called The Boys from Brazil. It's about the Nazis who went down to Argentina.
Yeah.
That's where they at now.
Yeah, so because it's a big Nazi population down there in South America. Like, how did they get there? They moved them over there. And in the early 1900s, 1930s, I got about 5 minutes. I got to get ready to leave. Most of America in the 1920s and 30s were card-carrying members of the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
A lot of card-carrying members of the Nazi Party. Majority of the doctors from I think it was 1933 to 1945 were actually in favor of the Nazi Party here in America. That's where we get all these discrepancies in the healthcare industry. They've been running these experiments on us since slavery. Like when you was talking about the women earlier in medicine, everything that has to do with modern gynecology comes from women in slavery. They did those experiments on black women in slavery with no
anesthesia,
nothing. We were the foundation for modern medicine that comes out of slavery. And it was German doctors they brought over here. They ran the same Nuremberg experiments that they run, which is the basis for clinical trials, saying, hey, you got to let people know what when you're doing human experiments, the Nuremberg.
Right.
They was running those trials were going at the same time they was doing Tuskegee. It was the same people running them.
Right.
They're running the same program all across the board. And it's just like black people, we don't, the biggest thing I say about that ruling is that it just let me know the psyche of our women, where they at right now, and where we're at as a whole. And Juneteenth, I think we let them take Juneteenth from us. We should have never let them make that a federal holiday. That should have been something we just continued to celebrate. If you want to take the day off from work, you take the day off from work and you go to your celebration. I think they co-opted that, and they benefit more from Juneteenth being off than we do. Because if we're not, most black people ain't federal workers, so you ain't guaranteed to get the day off.
But yeah. Because I think I took that Friday off, and they was like, "Oh, why you didn't take Monday off?" I was like, "If y'all don't understand Juneteenth, don't talk about it." Because I'm gonna give you a history lesson that you probably because I had to actually do was like I never heard of it before. Can you explain it? I said, from what view? Because you don't want to get it from my view, because because you know how deep we is into it. When we come with it, it's like Juneteenth has this some miseducation about it. Now, we always let them tell us the story, but at the same time, if you go back, Texas don't even celebrate it, and they was supposed to be where it started. So
Yeah.
Juneteenth, okay, you said the last slaves was free. Hmm. So you telling me that the North marched all the way down to Texas? Texas. They already had it in South Carolina. I mean, in California, they already knew. How is it that Texas was the last damn state when everybody else in the damn United States knew?
I think it was a small area of Texas where they actually did that. That they went in and that was happening. I just think, okay, Juneteenth, the federal government is recognizing the end of slavery. Where is our reparations? You went and told the nation and made it a federal holiday that this existed. Where's our reparations? You pretty much just gave the case for the reparations by giving us a federal holiday for the ending of slavery. Where is our reparations?
Let's see. All right, what's going on, Mr. Wathrow? Juneteenth is celebrated for people in Texas, not for everybody. They're stealing our history and giving it to these made up people known as Black and African American. And I actually agree with you
Yeah.
because I mean we celebrate in. Hell, I don't
But
even know why we. Is it a
this is
celebration?
crazy
I
to
mean, I
me
can
that
understand the reason
when you
why.
talk about when you talk about Russ's case for reparations, which they're not gonna happen, is the day celebrates the ending of legal slavery.
Cut the check.
Legal. It wasn't illegal. Slavery wasn't illegal. It was legal.
Hold up, get deeper, because you went somewhere, but you can't be just short with it, Jerome. You just can't throw a grenade in there and walk away. You think I'm supposed? Come on, let's get it. Let's get
I'm
it.
saying, think about the things that were illegal and that are still illegal in this country. But
Mhm.
slavery was not one of the things. It was
Okay.
legal to own a human. So you celebrate ending a crime.
Hmm.
Cut the check.
You see what I'm saying? That was a crime the whole time. So we celebrating that, oh, we stopped enslaving y'all. What?
Makes
You said
sense.
cut the
Like,
check.
cut the check. Because you pretty much made the claim for us. And fellas, I just got one more point. I gotta get ready to go.
Don't get
Uh,
in trouble now.
now,
Go ahead, make your point.
Roe v. Wade.
Go for it.
It won't be long. I told people if you go on the internet and Google women going to Miami International Airport, coming back in from the Dominican Republic and Colombia with the BBLs, they don't even have enough wheelchairs for all the women coming in. Just imagine that line for people leaving the country for abortions. It's going to be underground networks of it. Our Black women are really going to put themselves in danger because Black women were the ones who were dying from them BBLs in New York and in Miami. They was going and getting them in basements up in New York, getting those little butt shots, and they was dying from them. Will be the
Right.
that they'll be using for the face of the underground network of abortion. It's going to cost Black women their lives. They better stop following these white feminist ladies who ain't helping you get nowhere. The LGBTQ community and the white feminists have made more strides in this country in the past 50 years than we done made in 400.
Yeah, they the one who actually
Uh,
uses the
Message.
whole. Yeah, that was a message right there. Go ahead, man. Like I
Right.
said, I don't want you to get in no trouble, man, because
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to catch y'all on another one, man. I'm glad I caught y'all today. And just don't let them sell you no wood nickels, man. And don't let them people drag Clarence Thomas through the mud because he's our Negro. At the end of the day, whether you call him Coon, whatever you call him, that's our Negro. You put some respect on his name. He's the second Black Supreme Court justice in this country. He wasn't like Thurgood Marshall, a spy.
he actually took his place.
He earned this spot. Thurgood Marshall was an informant. He spied on Martin Luther King. He spied on the movement, and they put him in
Oh
that
shit!
position.
Damn, he went that way. Damn.
Yeah. So, like, I don't like the way they're doing Clarence Thomas. Like I said, whatever his opinion is, and I'm tired of Negroes calling him a coon because he's married to a white woman. We in the South, Negroes marry white women all the time. You don't call them coons. You don't say nothing about their kids. Don't do that man, because what you may think he's not in our pocket today may be something he gonna turn around and save us in the long run.
I like that.
Appreciate you, Russ.
I
Yeah,
appreciate you, bro.
And I try to check in later on tonight.
All
All
right.
right, man. Peace
All right.
out, man. Be
Peace.
safe. That was interesting. Because I don't really give two shits about Clarence Thomas. But I think his wife is the puppet anyway. She's playing him as a puppet, but that's a whole different story. All right, Mr. Wathrow. Oh, I mean, slavery, actually, be honest with you, has it ever ended?
Not officially.
Now, I mean, it has branched out and went to different directions under different names. Like when you have to work because you have to pay this and you can't miss a day of work and you work and don't spend time with your family. That's the same thing as, it's just it's an industrialized, plantation. Or if we can go with the jail or the prison system, another form of slavery. So it just happened to it just grew roots and went to different directions. So slavery really didn't end. People need to understand, why did Lincoln even end slavery anyway? He did that I was a political tool. I mean, tool. He played everybody. So, I mean, celebrating it. If you study slavery, dude, we did nothing but fight. Fight, fight, fight. A lot of our ancestors sacrificed. So
Right.
they can't control us. They had to end it because they was like, yo, these Negroes out of control. We can't control them. So I hate to say it that way, but at the same time, let's keep it real. They can't control us now. That's why they got the police as hostile as they are, because you got to keep the fear. When you lose fear to people, people don't look at you. They don't. We don't quite respect the government right now. That's why I actually appreciate the little orange monster that came through. He showed everybody. He showed everybody that our government's a bunch of punks. Now they might shut us down, because I'm speaking this. We might get cut off of YouTube. But I mean, let's keep it real, man. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. What did it do for us?
That's a good segue. Everybody that's on YouTube, if you would, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button. Try to get those algorithms up so that when he uses that term, we don't get cut off. Because we have a fan base.
But you know what, Mr. Rothrow, the 14th Amendment, yes, slavery did end. That was just put there, but it wasn't eradicated. It wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, people read the 14th Amendment, please. Because the minute you go to jail, you lose every right that you think you have. And the chain gang come in. But I mean, I understand, a lot of people might be upset. Actually, I had to ask my wife. I was like, how many people you know that has had an abortion? She was like, nobody. So to me, it didn't affect the black community as much as everybody think it should. They want us. They've been asking for us to be on their side. This is a fight check on doing your own. I care less about it. Now, but let me throw this out there. If somebody's been raped, if somebody's been molested, if when it comes to something like that, okay, now that's that's something. Because if you're gonna make somebody carry something that's gonna mentally destroy them for the rest of their life because of this particular person, that particular man took advantage of this female and did this and did that to her, and then all of a sudden they got a baby and she has to. That's a reminder of, okay, now I have an issue with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't say I actually just don't really, it don't affect our community, but it will when it comes to certain terms. Certain terms, I feel like you should do it, but I feel like our population is growing so much that they can't slow it down, man. The train is coming. Can't stop this freight train.
You don't think that train is big coming?
That train, dude. Again, you know how we do our research. You know how we do our studies. I mean, we done did the amendments. We done studied this whole situation. A lot of this stuff has been told us. Think about it. Look who's telling you the story. And you
Correct.
never question it.
Right.
Nobody ever questions the damn story. Is it really true? Is it factual? And if it was so factual, why did we have, the Jim Crow laws? Why is it all these things happen in the early 1900s?
Right.
Something
Right.
ain't right about this because
Why was all the cities burned? Why was all the lynching? Why was all the voter suppression? Why?
so, you know, that's what I'm saying. It just is more to it. How did we have
And
within the
it's funny. It's not that if we when we talk about what we talk about, right? As
hmm
far as history,
hmm
it's not non-blacks that don't believe us. It's the blacks that have trouble believing the
We've been
history.
indoctrinated so much that it's hard. It is hard to break away, dude. I ain't gonna lie. I struggle with it. I did.
Yeah,
I did until I started reading.
right.
Until something about because you always got questions about everything. You cannot tell me after this whole Juneteenth happened in less than 10 years, we have congressmen, mayors, governors. You had a governor and a congressman and a fucking senator of Mississippi, South Carolina, some of the racist fucking states in the damn, within 10 years, black people running it.
Well, that's because
You know what I'm saying? No,
as I
that's what.
always said,
But at the same time, I mean, I know how smart we are as a people. I know how we quickly grasp with things, but people don't come to us because we don't know shit. They come to us because they just know that we know everything. We know how to do things. We make sure we get things happen. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I think the misconception with that is that when slavery was enacted, that it was enacted all over, and that everybody was a slave. Not realizing there were still people that were business people, there were still people that were uh, doctors, lawyers, psychologists, engineers. Um, so when slavery did end, those people got a chance to get reacclimated with America.
No, think about this.
Reconstruction
Go
was
ahead.
really not the reconstruction of the country; it was the reconstruction of history.
Mm,
It was the reconstruction of the facts, so that okay, if we let you free, we can't let you tell the truth. If we let you free, we can't let you tell the history prior to the European invasion.
mm, mm. Which is interesting because think about the banks. Think about the bank. What's the name of the banks that all the black people was putting all their money, indigenous people put their money in, and they stole it from them?
That was a freedman bank.
The Freedmen's Bank. Look how much money they stole. Millions.
And they founded the war with it. What you talking about?
So you telling me we're a bunch of broken down slaves singing hymns, singing this, singing that? No, and I hate that. I hate that they make us think they teach us this that we less than who we are.
Dude, we created cities.
That was already here before they even came here.
Exactly.
You think New York just popped up out of nowhere? New York City was just, oh, they built up? No, no.
I like that what he just said.
Who?
Mr.
Which one?
Walker. The last thing about the daughters of the yeah.
That right there tells everybody. If y'all don't, I'm gonna tell y'all now. Study the daughters of Confederacy. It will answer so many questions, and you'll be sitting there like, "Oh, I didn't know," because you're not supposed to know. So you telling me the South lost, but they control the history?
Right.
So when we see all these Confederate statues going all the way up to Virginia, they lost, but they got all the monuments.
Did they? There's a difference
Ooh,
between
ooh,
losers
ooh! You got a good one.
and
You opened up a can of worms with that one. Did they win? Did they
what I'm
lose?
saying there's a difference between losing and coming to an agreement and taking a settlement. You see what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
The
good
war
point.
was not what you thought it was.
Mm, that's another segment. That's another segment.
So it was more the more the of realigning how money was going to be made. You see what I'm saying? Because this is what's crazy to me, right? When they said Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation making slavery illegal, right?
That was a power
Yeah.
move.
No. Hear me out.
Hmm.
Hear me out. So
Hmm.
he signed this. The South had already left the country. They wasn't a part of the United States. They were already a country to within themselves.
Hmm.
So you didn't make slavery illegal in the South because the South was a part of the Union.
Hmm.
So that was all show and theater.
It always showing theater. That's why we take so much. We put so much energy in something that we really don't know the truth. That's why everybody's like, "Oh, Lincoln freed the slave." Go back and listen to him because he'll tell you, "I really didn't," because he didn't want to do that. He had to. It's a political move. But at the same time, let's see, Mr. Walther done threw something else up here. I put it up there and I took it down. The South didn't lose. That's the part that was reconstructed. And that's facts. Man, Mr. Walther, you didn't. You throwing him up there. True. Lincoln didn't free no damn body. That is and it's funny though, because that's what the 13th Amendment? That's the 13th Amendment.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. But the South had already seceded.
Hmm.
So they wasn't part of the United States. That's why they went to Civil War.
I think it was deeper. I feel like anytime they have their little spats, who the hell do they use to come in and save the day?
Right. Of course.
Anytime we let them fight it out, like for instance, I'm gonna tell you this women's right. If our women stay out of it, I guarantee you not. Watch what happens. They need us. They need our support. They need our
Right.
support. Actually, I'm gonna tell you now. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm just sitting here looking at the BS, and we keep falling into it, and we keep stepping in it. So yes, they gave us a holiday. It's not a federal holiday.
You
I
say
didn't
they
get it.
gave us a holiday, right?
They
Or they
gave
just
us.
created a holiday.
They created a holiday for the country. Just to shut your damn mouth up. Hey, go celebrate it. Because I mean, I went to a party, but that ain't the reason why I went. Because I was like, oh shit, we having a cookout. Man, that's food. I'm going to eat. I'm going because I'm going to be around people, but I'm not going around celebrating something that we don't have facts on, or we have no truth behind it.
Right?
But you know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just more to it. It's a bunch of BS. But what else we was gonna talk about? Ooh, hey, what you doing Monday?
But I'm doing what?
What you doing Monday? You better not be
Uh,
celebrating. What you doing Monday, man?
I'm not really celebrating.
What you
I may
doing?
eat,
What
but
you
I
doing?
eat every day.
But let's get into this because I mean we talking about independence, we talking about freedom. So we talking about July 4th, 1776.
Right?
What the hell was they free from? Or did they just take our country and they was like, yo, we took these Negroes' land. Yeah, we took them, and I'm gonna tell you now, they ours now. But you keep saying it was, think about this. I want people to really sit back and think about this. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. I ain't letting Tron get nothing in today.
Nah, you
I'm,
fine. My
I'm
nose is
fired up
stuffed
today.
up.
Think
Hey,
about
you
this.
carried us today.
Think about this. You're separated from a government that you complain about that you're doing the same damn thing. You didn't want to be part of the religious sanctions that they was doing because Catholic, you had to be Catholic, so you couldn't be Protestant. So you somewhat fled over here. The pilgrims fled over here for religious. Man, no, they didn't. But at the same time, they spreaded Christianity. Again, this
Always.
falls back on the religion. So 1776, United States got a name, but what was it before that? Who did
Right?
they take the land? Who land did they really take? Because they swear they took the Indians' land. They took our land. We are the indigenous people. I don't know why. Think about it. The slave story didn't happen. You don't even hear the slave story back then.
Yeah.
You don't even hear it until what, the early 1900s.
Even later than that.
So now we got to understand. Why? Or what are we free from? Because we were still 2/3, 2/5 of a person.
Oh, that's a myth. B. You
That's
gotta
a myth.
understand what that meant. They was talking about voting rights, how your vote counted. You couldn't count as a full person if you voted. It was only
Mm.
3/5 of a person. That's how they was getting you. They knew black people out uh, populated people in the South in the early 1700s, 1700s, 1800s. That's why you couldn't give them voter rights because they had the bigger population. Even up to your count, I mean your state, South Carolina.
My state, South Carolina, who just took down the Confederate flag fucking like 10 years ago. But at the same time, let's keep it real though. Are we free?
Depending on your definition of what free is.
Are we free? Because I know we talked about this before. And actually, it's the podcast that didn't come through.
Oh, okay.
Do we have freedom or do we have liberty?
You have liberty. And to give the definition, liberty is what you're allowed to do. Freedom is what you think about doing.
I
So
tell
yeah,
everybody, I tell everybody we're not free. I tell everybody we're not free. I guarantee you. Go think you go do what you want to see what happens.
You know what's funny? You ever heard of them say, "Give me liberty" or "Give me death"? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But think about that. Wouldn't you rather choose death? Because liberty is what you're allowed to do.
It's a
That's
bondage.
like that's like saying, "Give me slavery" or "Give me death."
It's a bondage.
But people think liberty is being free. When you were in the military and you were allowed to go out for a few days, what do they call it?
Base lib.
They call it liberty, right? Your own liberty. But
You free to do something, but your ass better be right back.
you better be right back. You got this window, the opportunity to do something. That's your
But but what gets me is we I mean, which we haven't touched on. We ain't touched on the Boston Tea Party, which I feel like that's something that we need to educate a lot of people on. The truth behind that. Um, think about it. Colonization. They're here. They didn't want to follow the rules of the British because they wanted to expand more westward. They couldn't go past the Appalachian Mountains, y'all. The British say do not go past that. And what do people in America want to do? You know, the colonists was like, we want more land. We need to explore more. That's the reason why they did. That's what they went to war for because they broke rules. Let's people let's keep it real. Who y'all think the first slaves that was brought here? Because it wasn't us. It wasn't they didn't enslave us in a they brought their goons here. They brought all the people in their prisons over here.
right. They
So
brought a
so
lot of the Irish prisoners to the United States.
but then think about it. There's no pictures of us in slave ships, but it's tons of pictures in the damn early 1900s of a bunch of Caucasian people coming here on what boats.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
don't
that's,
bring people over here. You don't bring people over here unless you know you're already outnumbered.
I
They
think,
brought half of fucking Ireland here.
if you look at, I think Brother Walter was talking about the Naturalization Act. You look at the Naturalization Act, you look at the, uh, oh God, there's another act that was about bringing people over uh, from Europe.
Hmm.
I can't think of what it was. But this is the time that the late 1800s, early 1900s, when they flooded America with people. This is how they, or this is what they used to balance the scales, if you will. Why they were
But I
putting
mean,
you in concentration camps.
but everybody came in from here from Africa. How we outnumbered them?
Right.
Why? How did we outnumber? Uh oh, brother Walthrow coming in? What?
Oh, yeah, I sent him the link.
He coming in off of brother Walthrow. What's good, man?
What's going on?
Uh
Hey,
oh, uh
hey,
oh.
hey.
I'm getting my pen and
Welcome
paper
to the
ready.
show.
You ain't got to work that hard. This is easy work.
Go ahead. Give me this easy work.
Well, now, I was just listening to y'all's conversation, and there's a basic misrepresentation that they use on us all the time.
On
The,
which part?
well, the first part that you notice where they start flipping things around is with that three-fifths clause.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
See, that was based on Indian sovereignty, not on race.
Oh,
They was three-fifths because American Indians wasn't allowed to participate in the American system. But the South wanted to count them because the population was so high. It
Right.
was North that stopped them from being counted. So the North come up with a compromise, and since there's so many of them down there,
mm,
so we can only count y'all as three-fifths a person.
mm. That balance the
That's the
scale.
first thing. The second
Mm.
thing is, according to the 1870 Nationalization Act, Caucasians and Aryans ain't free white people.
He said that out
Now,
loud too.
unless my calculation is wrong,
Hmm.
that's a few years after the Civil War ended in 1863.
Facts.
You see?
So did
So,
Lincoln free? Why do you say? Why? I want your opinion on why Lincoln said he freed the slaves.
he said he freed the slaves, which is the exact way you should put it, because he didn't free anybody. But that
Mm.
was a psychological game that he was trying to play on the South. What he wanted was the Indians in the South to join up with the Union Army to help them defeat the South.
Right.
See? But it had no effect because, as you already mentioned, Lincoln was not in control of the South at that time, and Delaware still had slaves.
Right.
That
Remember,
is
Joe
true.
Biden's people were slave owners.
Hell, they still is. They own these corporations.
Mm.
A lot of the major companies and banks were major slave owners. They didn't just get money out of nowhere.
Yeah, but now here's the problem with that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you had to define who the slaves were.
Right.
Ooh.
See, you can't use a universal broad brush to decide who the slaves were, because if you actually go back and look into the records, there was more slaves coming into this hemisphere from Southeast Asia than there was coming from Africa.
God damn!
So you gotta go
I
check,
ain't got
you
no.
gotta go check
I
out,
need a.
you gotta go check out the thing. You gotta go check out a thing called the Coolie slave trade,
Ooh. Mm.
which
Right.
was which was much bigger than the so-called transatlantic slave trade, which is a complete impossibility from the start.
Right. Give us more on that coolie.
There's
Coolie.
no way on God's green earth. There's, there's no way on God's green earth that they could have brought people across that Atlantic Ocean in a rowboat for no 30 days.
I try to tell people that, and it's in
No,
30 days, 90 days, you can't do it.
no, it's medically impossible. If
Right.
you go to a nursing home, any nursing home you want to find, you go to a nursing home and you ask the nurses what a bed sore is and where it comes
Ooh.
from,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and what happens after a bed sore goes septic. See, and then you got to deal with the conversation about water, because the human body has a certain requirement of water every day.
True.
Water weighs 8 pounds a gallon. Where they keeping all this water at on these boats?
Because you can't drink salt water.
Right.
You can't drink salt water.
You can't drink salt water, and potable water was a problem even back then. Because not only was the so-called people that they was transporting having a hard time surviving, but the sailors themselves was having a hard time surviving. And if
Right.
they ran into a store and had to close their portholes, everybody on the ship would be dead within 48 hours.
Mm. Knowledge. Keep knowledge.
So it's completely impossible to do what they said they done. And they keep pointing you toward Africa so you don't look toward Southeast Asia.
Right.
Facts.
Now, a study just got released yesterday showing that the people in Southeast Asia, the Melanesians and the Polynesians and the Australians, have no African blood.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
these are the people that they took the largest number of slaves from. See, Spain, their largest ship was the San Juan Batista. That was made in Manila, and they lost it on their first voyage to South America.
Mm.
So these 20 and odd Negroes that they say that they brought here as slaves was supposed to be taken off the San Juan Batista, and it never went to Africa.
Never. They just took our
So,
people and put them somewhere else. They took
so
them from
these people could not have been Africans. And then they don't talk about what happened after King Philip's War, when they started shipping Indians to the islands as slaves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In North Carolina, there were more Indians shipped out as slaves as there were Africans brought in.
Right.
We didn't hit
See?
that hard. We hit that hard.
Well,
Slave
see, and
trade
this
was in reverse.
well, yeah, it was in reverse in the concept of what is actually reversed.
They
Because,
shipping us out of here to there.
well, here's the problem.
Mhm.
If you want to go with a ocean bound slave trade, the reverse would be the Pacific Ocean instead of the Atlantic Ocean.
But it got me.
That's reversed.
Right.
And you can go back and see that they were bringing more coolies over here than they were bringing Africans anywhere. You see?
Knowledge.
Then they took the daughters of the Confederacy. Their job was to hide the fact that the people that was actually fighting the Civil War mainly looked like you.
That
Right.
And they was fighting to preserve a system that they had been using for thousands and thousands of years. Because the plantation system, as the way it was set up, is the exact same way that the Indian villages was running before any black ass European drug himself over here.
ooh.
But see, now we got to talk about who was actually over here doing this colonizing. Because them wasn't white folks.
They said one of the first slave master was black in Virginia. I forgot his. I ain't got his name truly.
The first colonizers was black in Virginia.
Mm.
So, of course, the first slave owner would be black in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
I hear you.
But
I
they
am
want
not
to
disagreeing with nothing you're saying right now.
they want to try to confuse who was actually the slave and who was the slave owners, and they hide that with the colonization story.
Right.
But the colonization was niggas, for lack of a better term. They the ones who colonized you. They're the only ones that could come in and blend in with the tribes because just like we are today, we're always a little suspicious of somebody that don't look like us.
Wow.
So for them to be able to get into it good enough to be marrying our women and stuff, that means they had to have some similarities to us.
Facts. Mm.
White boy wasn't gonna come into one of our communities and just call himself a part of us just on GP.
Oh yeah, he died instantly.
So you can tell right there that it had to be a dark-skinned colonizer that was over here doing the dirt and
Now,
stealing the land.
can I ask you this question, sir? Are you saying? Are we kind of basing saying the Moors, the Spanish Moors, or are you just saying? I mean, just ask.
Well, now I'm not basically saying that. I am saying that.
Okay, all
But
right. I just wanted to get it out there. I didn't know how to ask that question. I didn't know how to ask.
the deal is in 1492 when they got expelled from Spain, they didn't all just disappear into some magic cloud floating in the sky. They went up in the northern parts of Europe
Mm-hmm.
where they had already had a foothold, and they
Right.
maintained that foothold up until the time of the Jacobites rebellion,
Mm.
which is otherwise known as the War of the Roses.
Ah! Oh my God! I am
You see
so
what I'm
man.
saying?
I'm excited. I'm telling y'all, I'm excited just hearing this because I study this, I read this, but a lot of people gonna be like, "Where you getting this information from?" I'm like, "Got to study. Got to know.
Well,
Got to know what you're talking about."
there's
But
a
go ahead.
book. There's a book called The Jews and Muslims in Colonial America.
I
When
got
it's
that.
talking about the Jews and the Muslims, those are dark people.
Right.
They don't look like the Jews and the Muslims you used to seeing now.
No, totally
Them is
different.
your Moors.
Even Hitler said that. Hitler said that.
Well, uh, I believe, and I'm gonna put this like that. I believe that had the reason why they don't like Russia today is because Russia knows the truth. Russia is the only country that has never participated in slavery.
Ooh,
Wow.
never. Damn.
Add it up
They
tonight.
didn't have a slave. See, and part of the reason why the North attacked the South is because the South was starting to set up international trades with other countries on their own outside of the United States system,
Right.
outside of their taxation system. You see
Right.
what I'm
Mm,
saying?
Right.
So Russia and France was actually coming in on the side of the South. But they don't want you to talk about Russia because they know the truth is still hidden over there in Russia. That's why you still see the black Jesus over there in Russia.
Right.
the
That's
black
the
Madonna.
Russian
Black
Orthodox
Madonna.
Church.
Got the
Mhm.
Black Madonna.
The Black Madonna. Man,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited listening to this.
That comes from the Russian Orthodox Church.
Facts.
That's right.
And they had to have a
That's why the Pope
Bolshevik.
always kneel down to it.
Well, the Pope, man, let me tell you, the Creator created man. Man created God. And then the Pope decided that he was working for God's emissary or as
Mm,
God's emissary. I want you to
mm,
understand that he's working for God's emissary. So this is a man-made creation that he's the emissary of,
facts.
not the creator.
Mm,
And that's how
mm.
they play this trick on people. This is a Jedi mind trick because they keep you thinking about God, which is a man-made creator, and not thinking about the creator who actually created man. So the church will tell you all about God. They'll spend all day long telling you about God, but you never hear them say anything about the creator. See what I'm saying? That's two different entities.
Right.
That is two separate entities. And you
Wow.
got to stay clear of one entity because it's a false, like a false God. Now we start talking about the one world religion, what actually started in Egypt when Egypt and Greece united. That's when you fell up under the one world religion. And you still live up under that one world religion to this day. And you can see the
So,
traces of it when you talk about the Masons and when you talk about them fraternities. Because that Masonic stuff comes out of Egypt and fraternities come out of Greece.
mm.
And them the ones that control the world that you live in right now. See?
Whew, boy.
That
So
brought
it's a
that
big
fire.
old Jedi mind trick. The reason why they don't want you to understand who you are is
Mm-hmm.
because they know of the mixing with the Europeans that happen here on this country. So what you will find is you will have American Indians who actually are heirs to the upper levels of English society. Because there's a difference between English and Britons. Those ain't the same people.
True.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
An English person and a British person are not the same people. That's two
Totally
different
different.
periods of time that we're talking about. The British was first, and then the English came in.
Right.
The
Mm.
English are the Anglo-Saxon, but you still have a problem with the Anglo-Saxons because you really can't say whether them were so-called white folks or so-called black folks
Yeah, they
because
are.
those concepts were not in use at that time.
True.
Remember, the concept of white people has a birthday. That
Right.
started with Bacon's Rebellion. Before Bacon's Rebellion, there was no such thing as a white person or a black person. I'm sorry. All that started here.
Right. That's true.
What we're looking at?
But
What
that was
1600,
designed to separate the Indians. That was
That was
that was
1800.
designed to separate the Indians from
No,
his
that was
land.
1600s. That was 1600s. I think that was
1600s.
1600s. Like
Yep,
16,
1600.
16,
Like
16,
16. It was
hmm,
like 16. 30 something, I believe. But
man.
before that, there wasn't no such thing as a white person. You could search high and low for that thing, and he wasn't gonna be there.
Boy, this is fire. This is
That was
fire.
not a thing. And if it if it has a birthday, then it's not historical.
Ooh. Ooh.
Basically, that's a modern concept.
Mm.
And we deal with this modern concept because they want you to spend most of your time dealing with this fake ass concept instead of actually trying to figure out what was going on.
Mm.
So you get trapped in this black white binary that's made up.
That's an American concept.
So you wasting your time talking about, huh?
It's an American concept. It's a United States
It's a
concept.
what?
A United
It's,
States concept.
exactly. And just because it belongs to the United States don't make it true. It's just that, a concept. A concept is another word for an idea.
Mm. So how you feel about celebrating Juneteenth, sir?
They made that shit up. I'm gonna tell you the truth about it. Now. This is where you're gonna hit me where I live. Those people down in Texas
Mm-hmm.
went through a very specific event that was centered on those people. Taking that event that was specific to those people, which were actually Indian tribes, and parsing it out to these so-called African Americans and black folks is a way to steal the history of those Indian tribes that lived along the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
You see? It's
Mm-hmm.
all designed to steal your history away from you. And this has been the game the whole time. Y'all was talking about people getting hung and all this shit. Well, they was getting hung not because they was black. They was getting hung because they was landowners and they wouldn't shut up about
Right.
being Indian.
Right.
Facts.
So you can't take the land unless the land is abandoned, and the land can't be considered abandoned if there were still Indians living on the land.
Facts.
So now we got to get rid of these Indians. So we start all this hard oppression to get them ready to go. And then we open up the factories up north and start sending them up there and then give it this cute little name called a Great Migration.
Right.
This is a
When it
1930.
wasn't a great migration, it was a great land theft.
Ooh.
Because as they moved out the south, their lands became abandoned and open for anybody that wanted to take them.
Yes, because a lot of our ancestors, a lot of our family members will move up and just leave the property abandoned.
Exactly.
Free grabs.
Well, you
Mm.
actually had people up there that would make a deal with you, and you give us the title to your land, and we'll let you stay in my tenement rent free for a
Right.
while.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One of the largest landholders in the north looked like you. Because as those people was coming up, he was making that deal and he was taking them parcels of land. Then he goes back down south and he sells those parcels of lands at a profit. Remember in the 1930s, the cities were still full of white folks. And that's
Yeah.
why when they show you a picture of them bread lines, you don't see us standing in them bread lines.
And nobody questions none of that shit. That kills me when you see that and you never see not one person of color in that damn line during this Great Depression.
Yep.
Nobody.
Right.
How the
My
hell?
grandma said. My grandma said. They, my grandma said that during the depression they didn't have no money, but they had plenty of food to eat, and nobody
Mm,
went hungry.
Right.
mm.
So you don't see us in Broadline because we still own the land. Because 1921, we still own the majority of the farmland in the South.
Right.
Nobody questions that shit. And that
That was
pisses
still
me
our
off.
stuff. So we were safe.
Because I mean, we looking at it
Why?
during the Great Depression. You see tons of black cities getting burned down. Because why? Because
Of course.
they can't keep up. They see us flourishing while they failing, and I feel like that's what's going on right now. Some
They wanted the land. They had to find some place. They had to find some place to put them poor folks to get them out the city before they had a mass death on their hands.
Right.
So they moved you out the South where you was the landowner and moved them people into the South. And at the same time, they changed the way the Ku Klux Klan was organized. Go bring my water.
man, this
But
man is
remember,
on.
there was two Ku Klux Klans.
Uh-oh.
The first Ku Klux Klan was our friend. The second Ku Klux Klan, which came from the north, was our enemies.
Oh, that's
We
a
got
whole
to bring
different
you
segment
back to
right there.
explain that one.
Yeah,
Huh?
that's a segment by itself that we need to explore. Can you come back and
Uh,
tell us about that?
Bedford, Bedford Forrest, who is credited with being the founder of the Ku Klux Klan, refused to have any of those so-called white people in his force. The so-called black people that he had in his force, he loved them to death, and they loved him too. His first assignment was to protect Southern people, Southern culture, and Southern history. Then when you get up to Woodrow Wilson with that
That
birth
bullshit.
of a nation bullshit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is where you get the new Klan. And if you look at them, that's what they call themselves, the new Klan.
Mm.
They're not the original.
Mm. Mm.
They don't
Wow.
tell you about the original, they tell you about the upsert.
Mm.
But the original was your friend.
You got me. I'm writing down names. Hey, yep, I'm researching and thank you.
Go look up, go look up Bedford Forrest.
Yes, sir.
And there's a guy, he's dead now, but his name was Edgerton, H.K. Edgerton.
Oh, I'm about to say, goddamn, I'm
So-called
Edrington.
black folks shit. Huh?
My last name is Edrington. I thought
Edgerton,
you were about to say
Edgerton.
me.
He just died not too long ago.
Okay.
He actually tried to tell the truth about what was going on in the South. He still got videos up on YouTube. And he tell you about how the North came down to the South with all that stealing and shit.
Mm.
And what
Mm.
was actually going on in the South.
Mr. Walthrope,
See,
I'm gonna
them
tell you
slave
now,
owners
man.
wasn't down. Huh?
I said I'm gonna tell you now, man. You dropping so much knowledge. I mean, you overloading my brain right now because I don't know where to go right now. I'm trying to think. Should I need to study this, or do I need to go over and study this? I mean, that's why I said I know I need to. That's why I got a pen and paper in front of me because you giving me nothing but just more material to go figure out what's going on because a lot of
Now,
us don't know the
the
truth
best
about
question, B,
history. Hmm?
the best question is, when can we get you back on here?
Well, we accepted the narrative
I
for
don't
the
think we had a
mistake was.
choice. I don't think we had a choice. There was no other options.
You kind of breaking up on me.
I said I don't think we had any choice because I feel like that's the only option because of the indoctrination of the schools. True.
You still breaking up on me, baby.
Uh-oh. We got a bad connection. Oh man, we got a bad
Now
connection.
we can say,
I tell you what, Mr. Wathrow, can
yeah,
you hear
either
me?
I got a bad connection, or you got one.
I tell you what, is there any way possible we can get you back on, sir?
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right, we're gonna have to do this next week. We got to
Don't mind at
continue
all.
this.
When you want to do.
Hey, we can do this next week. We can do it next Thursday, next Friday. I don't care what day you say you free. I'm gonna make myself free. Because I mean, you dropping a lot of knowledge, and I appreciate you even just you saying this because you're saying a lot of truth that a lot of people don't want to hear. Oh man, he dropped off. Damn. Hey, he said, "Oh, did he? Oh, he coming back on? Let me put him back on."
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you too. Now, what was you saying?
Oh, I was saying, I said I like the truth that you bring in because a lot of people we so stuck in what school history has taught us that we won't shake away from it. It's like it's hard for people to shake away from Christianity because it was pushed in you. It was force fed into you so much that you can't get away from it. So
Why do you think they started talking about reparations? See, that story ties into that Africa slave story.
facts.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually look at the conditions for collecting reparations, you're not going to get reparations as no African because they didn't bring no African. Your
Ooh,
reparation comes from being an American Indian.
indigenous.
You can show the crimes against you as an American Indian.
Facts.
These people come here talking about Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, and all this shit. That's not going to get you reparations. They talk about slavery. Slavery is not going to get you reparations. Because if you want reparations for slavery, then you got to go back to the slave owners.
They got reparations.
Well, yeah. But you're not going to be able to collect reparations from the United States government because the United States government didn't do you no harm. In 1804, the United States government stopped, banned, prohibited the importation of slaves into this country.
Mm.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But what they did to the Indians, even up to Indian removal and to this day, that was government policies. Now you can talk to the government about what you did when you stole my land with all that bullshit called the Indian Removal Act.
Right.
Boy, we be hitting. Oh,
There's your case for reparations. And if you try to get reparations using any other case than that, you're going to fall on your face. But they need this story, this narrative to continue. So in order to get people to sign up for this narrative, they started talking about, I'm going to give you some money. And now some of our folks will do anything for $1.
hey,
Including be a slave again.
Mr. Wathrow, I appreciate you just sharing your knowledge. We kind of ran over our time for the day. We got to get you back on, sir. Please share this knowledge with us. Oh man, you got me fired up. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I appreciate your knowledge, Mr. Wathrow.
It
Hey,
ain't no problem, young. It's time that this story gets told straight.
True.
You see what I'm saying? And
yes.
it's been told incorrectly for so long that it's hard to get the story straight because so many people fell for the narrative. That's why they made the movie Roots. And then to try to reinforce that, they come up with a movie called 12 Years a Slave. And what neither one of them movies about us, but they tried to put both of them movies on us.
Ooh.
This way you can start thinking that if you're going to get reparations, you got to be a slave. and instead of thinking about it as a legal remedy for an injustice that was caused, they want you to accept it as a TV narrative and just run with it. You're not getting anywhere with that.
Indoctrination.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it's a psychological game. It's still a grand land theft. Because as many people that sign up for the reparations, that's that many people that they can take off the land whenever they want to. You know, fooling with these people, anytime they give you a check, there's gonna be some strings attached to that damn check. Ain't nobody went and read the fine print on that shit. You don't actually know what you agreeing to by agreeing to this reparation argument. All they tell you about is the money. But I'm telling you, that's not the end of that song. It's gonna be more to it.
I feel you. I feel you. We're gonna have to stop. We're gonna have to stop because
it's all good.
I don't want to stop, but we gotta stop. It hurt. It hurt. It hurts. I ain't gonna lie to you. It hurts. It hurts that you. I mean, you dig so deep in it, and it's like, dude, I want some more. But I mean, we damn, we over our time. Well, Mr. Wathrow, we appreciate your knowledge. Russell, we appreciate y'all knowledge. Even thank y'all for even just listening to us, just to be participating into our podcast. And I thank y'all. I mean, just love.
I try to catch y'all every chance I get.
You make me want to do this. Jerome, we got to thank you. Motivation. It was motivation.
All it takes, baby.
Hey, Mr. Wathrow, you got
a little motivation. A little motivation, a little knowledge. Keep studying, man. Keep studying. Keep studying. Don't fall for the okie dokie.
Facts. Right. I'm gonna tell you now, we're gonna jump into that W2 and W4 because some hidden secrets in that too. But hey, we're gonna get off of that because I tell you what, we're gonna get off of that. Get off of that. But I'm gonna get my last words in. I appreciate everyone that coming in on our podcast. Thank y'all for listening. This is our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share. We just appreciate anybody that just listens to us. We do this, and we just do this out of love because this was what we like to do. My famous thing is always, just understand yourself, believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to talk to you. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror and say, I love you, and they say, I love you back. Know thyself, understand thyself, and I tell you what, only person going to believe in you is you. Go ahead, Jerome. I'm going to let you finish it off, brother.
All right. First of all, I want to thank both our guests that came on. It was a guest-packed show. And I'm glad because my nose has been out of whack, so I'm glad they can carry us. If anything from tonight, what you should gather is go find an elder. Go sit down with the elder and listen and learn and then teach that to somebody. So hopefully we'll have another show with our elder, Brother Wathrow, and you know how we do. So get your study on.
Just hit me up when y'all ready, man.
Yes, sir.
Three-Headed Monster Podcast. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.